ओके, बायो क्लास जैसा समझ लीजिए इसको। तो ये ड्राइंग इंटेंसिव क्लास है और समझते हैं। हैव यू हैंडल द कैमरा? मोटा मोटी कैमरा हैंडल किया होगा ना। सो इफ यू लुक इनटू अ कैमरा, व्हाट ऑल डू वी सी? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी ऑलवेज हैव अ लेंस कवर। उस लेंस कवर को आप आईलिड जैसा समझ लीजिए। आईलिड बंद, आंखों में कुछ नहीं जा रहा है, नथिंग गोज टू योर आईज। लेंस कवर क्लोज्ड, कैमरा में नो लाइट गोज इन। After that, if you have a costly DSLR, you will have a filter, which is like a glass. So that is like your cornea. Then you have a lens in your eye, you have a lens in the camera. And images are formed on our retina of the eye, and images are formed on the film of the camera. Then we have something called iris, which will open up. It's like the shutter, or you can say the pupil is like the shutter and the iris is like the aperture. Aperture मतलब how much light you are allowing to fall. आइए धीरे धीरे डायग्राम देखते हैं। So first part would be human eye. Okay, human eye. Actually, today I would have loved to watch Vaishnav's diagram. Today would have been the test of his diagram. Okay. So how the human eye looks like? So try to make it something circular with little bit bulge out here and again circular ऐसे, ठीक है? Easy हो जाता है। ठीक? सर्कुलर बनाइए, यहाँ पे बल्ज बनाइए, आपका आई बॉल बनेगा। ठीक है, वी आर नॉट मेकिंग द आईलिड्स आउट हियर, द आईलिड इज द पोर्शन व्हिच इज बियॉन्ड दिस। सो व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू मेक इज द ब्लू व्हाइट बॉल, यू नो, द आई सॉकेट, जो व्हाइट बॉल है ना, हम उसको बना रहे हैं। राइट, ऑल ऑफ यू क्लियर? आई एम ट्राइंग टू मेक द आई बॉल। मेरा आईलिड नहीं बन रहा, आईलिड इसके बाहर है। सो आईलिड इज समथिंग वी आर नॉट स्टडीइंग आउट हियर। सो ऑल ओके, ठीक है, चलिए। नाउ इनसाइड हियर द फर्स्ट पार्ट ऑफ द आई, ऐसे और एक गोल बना लीजिए। दिस इज नोन एज योर कॉर्निया। कॉर्निया, कॉर्निया पूरा आई का वो आउटर स्ट्रक्चर है। ठीक है, आई का पूरा आउटर स्ट्रक्चर है कॉर्निया। दैट वाइट पोर्शन एंड एवरीथिंग दैट यू हैव, दैट्स द कॉर्निया। ठीक है, फेक नीचे, ठीक है, इतना क्लियर हुआ? गेट रेडी, नहीं तो बनाते बनाते और टाइम। Cornea is known as the bulging convex outer surface. ये सब क्वेश्चन नहीं आता है आपको, बिकॉज यू दिस इज अ फिजिक्स पेपर, यू वोंट गेट दीज क्वेश्चंस, बट यू शुड नो। ठीक है, नाउ दिस इज समथिंग डिबेटेबल, द वे आई ड्रॉ इट हियर एंड द वे यू विल अंडरस्टैंड। आफ्टर दैट आई हैव गॉट एन ओपनिंग, आई हैव गॉट टू थिंग्स लाइक दिस। अभी इसको फट से बनाइए मत। आई एम कॉलिंग दिस एज द iris, 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 and the opening which is created, this is known as pupil. इसको समझिए थोड़ा सा पहले, उसके बाद हम आगे बढ़ेंगे। This is the iris, the pupil. Okay. Now it's very stylish how the iris and the pupil looks like, because you're watching it from the side view, so you're unable to understand. ये चीज कैसा रहता है? It's something like this. ऐसा सोचिए, your iris will be ऐसे, ऐसा टाइप मान लो एक होल है, जैसे ही घूमता है ना, it's like something that rotates. Try to imagine like that. If it rotates, these are some blades, or you can understand them to be some veins, V-A-N-E-S. If they rotate, this hole starts increasing. And if you want to close it, फिर क्विक ये close हो जाएगा, तो ये बंद हो जाएगा. Are you trying to understand that mechanism? Have you seen the aeroplane's engines right below the wings of the aeroplane? So they will show some Instagram or some video where once the propellers start, you will see a small spiral and then a big spiral and a big spiral moving. इसका भी वैसा ही है. This is a very stylish thing. So what I am drawing as iris beta, iris is an organ or an organ part. Pupil कोई part नहीं है. Iris जब खुलता है, when the iris opens, you get an opening, that is known as pupil. Please understand. Pupil is not a part or an organ. So either you can be closed iris or you can be open iris. If you open the iris, then a hole is created through which the light will enter. Something like the shutter of a camera. If you take old days camera and you just click it, you'll see when you click it, some light goes inside. So it's like that. So the iris, what is the job of the iris? The iris will actually, the iris can open or close, and basically it can regulate the amount, or I'll not say regulate the amount, that won't be the correct answer. It can open and close, and as it opens and closes, it determines the pupil size. Have you understood? And pupil is the opening. This is the opening from where light enters. From here light enters. अब फिर से समझने की कोशिश करो. This is the iris. The iris can open and close. That is completely an auto arrangement. ये आपका auto arrangement है. Now try to understand. Let us be in a cinema theater. We are in dark. So when you are in dark, when you are shooting a photograph in dark, then you want more light for the camera. So आप क्या करोगे? Shutter speed बढ़ा दोगे so that more light can come in. So when we are in a cinema theater, we are in dark. Our pupils open to the maximum. ये क्या करता है? क्वी खोल के maximum करके रख दिया है, क्योंकि लाइट नहीं है, हमें देखना है ना, देखने के लिए लाइट चाहिए. And once the interval happens and the lights are switched on, suddenly the theater gets illuminated. Our lenses are now sensitive. We don't want that much light. तो क्या कर लेते हैं हम? साथ साथ आंख ऐसे छोटी कर लेते हैं. So you are trying to reduce your pupil size, but it doesn't happen instantaneously. After some time it takes place. Take the second thing. Suppose you are entering a cinema theater late. तो आप ऐसी ऐसी आंखों से घुसते हैं. घुसने के साथ साथ जैसे थिएटर घुसते हो, first thing you don't see anything. Why? Because your pupil size is very small. You're coming from bright light area, so your pupil has become small. Understood? And immediately when you enter the theater, it is dark. You need more light. So it will take some time for the iris to open up. ये iris खुलेगा फिर क्वी करके, and then the pupil will open up. And after some time you feel that who has entered after you, you laugh at them. देखो देखो कैसे डर डर के जा रहा है. वैसे आप भी डर डर के घुसे थे. When somebody comes late, have you experienced that? So that all happens due to the iris. And iris is the part which is for your biometric sensing. Iris is something. Iris is unique to everyone. Now there are different people say that what is the color of your pupil? There is no color of pupil. Pupil तो एक hole है. The pupil appears black. That is a wrong sign. Pupils are not. Pupil appears black when no light is reflected. ऐसा नहीं है. Iris का color होता है. Indians we generally have black iris. If you go to Czechoslovakia and all, Prague and all, you'll see girls they are having hazel eyes, right? Or you have cat eye जैसे रहते हैं, blue eyed and all. This is the color of your iris. Everyone's iris is unique. तो इतना तक आपको समझ में आया? So the human eye will actually have what all beta? The first thing the human eye will have is the cornea, the outer convex part, the bulging part. जैसा छूने से ऐसा किसी किसी का cornea ज़्यादा bulge रहता है. You will find that. You know this film star रिया सेन को देखा है, आंखें बड़ी बड़ी, काजल अग्रवाल देखना ज़्यादा बड़ा, देखने से लगता है एक बड़ा सा आंख है, तो ये bulge ज़्यादा रहेगा आपको. After that you have the iris. Iris will control. तो हमने वहाँ पे what I have tried to show here, this is a side view. So I have showed that the iris is right now in open and this much of pupil has been created. Understood? After this comes your eye lens, which is a convex, gelatinous, flexible eye lens, jelly-like eye lens. And this eye lens is actually made up of proteins. हमारे eye lens जो है protein से बने रहते हैं. This is your convex eye lens. Convex eye lens है तो कैसा image बनाएगा? Real बनाएगा, inverted बनाएगा, हमेशा उल्टा बनाता है. ठीक है? Convex eye lens. This is jelly-like, usually made up of proteins. Now here is where the difference comes between camera and human eye. Human eye का जो ये eye lens है ना, what I have tried to draw here, ये eye lens अपना स्ट्रक्चर चेंज कर सकता है. स्लेंडर बन सकता है चाहे तो, मोटू भी बन सकता है चाहे तो. इन बोथ द केसेस व्हाट इट कैन डू इज दैट ये अपना फोकल लेंथ एडजस्ट कर सकता है. दिस इज व्हाट वी विल लर्न. दैट इज द फिजिक्स पार्ट वी शुड लर्न. द ह्यूमन आई इज फ्लेक्सिबल. द ह्यूमन आई लेंस इज कॉन्वेक्स आई लेंस, फ्लेक्सिबल, जेली लाइक. इफ यू वांट यू कैन खींचो द आई लेंस. आई लेंस को जैसे खींचेंगे, इसको खींच दो, इसको ऊपर की तरफ खींचते हैं जैसे खींचोगे ये स्लेंडर बन जाएगा, थिन बन जाता है। इसको चाहे तो ऐसे कंप्रेस करने से ये और मोटू भी बन जाएगा। सो द मोर मोटू यू आर, द मोर कन्वर्जिंग यू आर। Got it? Your converging power is more. We'll come to those. This is not there in your camera. Camera में हमारे पास adjustable लेते हैं, but additional zoom lenses will be given. So what your camera, if you take a DSLR and you start focusing this DSLR between the squares on any person, you'll hear the camera making आगे पीछे जाता है. That is, the camera is trying to accommodate that picture. This accommodation God has given you the power to do it on your own. सोचो, हम दूर की एक चीज को भी देख पाते हैं, पास की चीज को भी देख पाते हैं, as long as we have got normal eye, है ना? But in camera, you have to do the settings. Unless and until if you are on manual, like say this particular camera which I have set, this camera, if I switch it on auto mode, every time I move, it captures me. Our Sanvis and all others will suddenly see this blurred suddenly because it's on AI mode. So what I have done, I have calculated the distance and set it on manual mode now. That it will always try to capture it with this board. राइट ये ह्यूमन आई में होता है, तो पढ़ेंगे इसको. सो दिस इज आवर लेंस इज कॉन्वेक्स आई लेंस, इट्स जेली लाइक स्ट्रक्चर एंड दिस इज फ्लेक्सिबल, राइट. एंड बेसिकली curvature can be changed. You can make it slender or more convex. अभी समझते जाइए, ये पार्ट से क्वेश्चंस नहीं आता, दिस द बायो पार्ट, बट यू शुड अंडरस्टैंड दिस. यहां से कहानी इंटरेस्टिंग होती है. आफ्टर यू हैव योर आई लेंस, यू विल हैव समथिंग आउट हियर, ऐसा देखो, बिल्कुल इसके ऑपोजिट में भी ऐसा दो चीज होगा. इसको हम बोलते हैं सिलियरी मसल्स. Ciliary muscles, CILIARY. So this is known as ciliary muscles. Ciliary muscles. डाउट लगा दिया आपने? हाँ, ciliary है, करेक्ट. This is known as your ciliary muscles, right? Basically इसका काम कुछ नहीं है. It will hold this lens and it holds the lens through something called known as सस्पेंसरी लिगामेंट. सस्पेंड करके रख रहा है, सस्पेंसरी लिगामेंट्स. कोई आने से बोलेगा बायो पढ़ा रहा है, में खराब नहीं बनाया डायग्राम. सस्पेंसरी लिगामेंट्स, क्लियर? जैसे सस्पेंसरी लिगामेंट बन गया, अब आप सुंदर से इसको यहां से गिव अनदर बाउंड्री एंड विल ट्राई टू क्लोज इट. ऐसा कर लीजिए. एंड फ्रॉम हियर, जहां मैंने जेली लाइक, फ्रॉम हियर यू शो सम nerves going out. This is known as your optic nerve. Very good. Optic nerve. और ऑप्टिक नर्व के बिल्कुल यहां पे एक स्पॉट होता है, इसको हम कहते हैं ब्लाइंड स्पॉट. यहां पे हो जाएगा आपका ब्लाइंड स्पॉट. ब्लाइंड स्पॉट इज अ स्पॉट ऑन द रेटिना. अच्छा, रेटिना क्या है? दिस एंटायर थिंग इज नोन एज, दिस थिंग इज नोन एज योर रेटिना, लाइक द स्क्रीन. दिस इज योर रेटिना and the retina serves as your screen where all images. Now one by one we will do. Blind spot is a spot where light does not get reflected. यहाँ पे कोई image form नहीं होता है. Many people will actually have images being formed on blind spot में भी, देख नहीं पाता है. आंख ठीक है पर देख नहीं पाता है, blind spot पे आ रहा है. ठीक है, अब एक एक करके देखते हैं. अच्छा, ये पूरा चीज यहाँ पे रहता है on a liquid which is known as vitreous humor. Vitreous humor, हंसी मजाक, vitreous humor. And there is a liquid on the front portion between the cornea and your lens. Yeah, this is aqueous humor. Very good. This is known as aqueous humor. AQUEOS ह्यूमर। ये जब तुम रोते हो ना तो यही चीज निकल के आ जाता है, एक्वस ह्यूमर। विट्रियस ह्यूमर, एक्वस ह्यूमर। अच्छा, hey Vaishnav, why is your camera switched off? I felt like.
So I actually went to the washroom.
No, he's not there. He's not listening. Vaishnav.
Sir, I'm on mobile data.
Oh, you suddenly remembered that there is class now, so you thought you'll log in. Good, good. Welcome to the club, evening club. Hey, anyways, he has club membership is paid. ठीक है, आइए फिर से एक एक करके अभी देखते हैं। व्हाट इज कॉर्निया? कॉर्निया इज द आउटर मोस्ट बल्जिंग पार्ट और द कॉन्वेक्स पार्ट ऑफ द आई। उसके बाद आईलिड होता है। द कॉर्निया, आफ्टर कॉर्निया यू हैव गॉट द आइरिस। द आइरिस is the organ which gives the color to your eyes and it's also the your biometric sense के लिए लेते हैं। iris opens up and creates pupil. Pupil is the hole, so pupil size can be more or small depending upon what is the intensity of light. So if more light is required to be more light is demanded by the eye lens, the iris opens up creating a bigger size pupil, and if less light is required then the iris shuts down creating a smaller size pupil. So pupil controls how much of light goes in. After that we have got a convex lens. The beauty of this lens is this is a gelatinous lens, flexible lens. So this lens can actually change its curvature. It can become slender or more bulged or more convex as and when required, and this lens is usually made up of proteins. Yeah, bolo beta. That we will come to it. So first we'll just cover up the bio part. The lens is actually held by two suspensory ligaments on top and bottom, and the suspensory ligaments are attached to ciliary muscles. As for physics part, what will be important for us in physics would be, for physics, the things that are important for us is this one, 2 the retina, 3 the ciliary muscles. ये हमारे लिए ज़्यादा important रहेंगे, ठीक है? So after that you have the ciliary muscles which are attached to the eye, and the whole thing is held in an aqueous medium which is known as vitreous humor. Back side is known as vitreous humor, the front side is known as aqueous humor. And this whole thing on the back side you have got retina. Retina is like the screen where our images are formed, okay? And then there are optic nerves which take the images as signals to the brains process it. So some small things that we would like to understand here. Number one, the lens is convex, so every image that it will form would be a real image and it will be inverted. That's the first interesting thing. The eye forms inverted images and these inverted images are then corrected in your brain. हमारी आई में सब कुछ उल्टा फॉर्म हो रहा है, फिर हम सीधा देखते हैं क्योंकि the brain is then going to correct it. ठीक है, right? So from physics, the eye for us is a convex lens and there is a screen where light rays enter. Now some nice things that we would like to understand out here. First would be about the second thing would be the accommodative. This we will study in detail also. The accommodative nature of eye lens. The accommodative nature of eye lens. Now from here your job becomes interesting. Okay, another thing I missed out. On the retina we also have two type of cells. One of the cells are known as cones and one is known as rods. These are cells, rods and cones. Rods will be rod like in shape and cones will be cone like in shape. What are these? Beta, these are cells. These are cells. What do they do? First, rods. Rods are the cells that are sensitive to dim light and allow visibility in dim light. So rods क्या होते हैं? Rods are sensitive to dim or low light. When we were kids and we only had Doordarshan as a channel, Government of India used to spread the awareness of having more of vitamin A in your diet. So there used to be a disease called night blindness, which is now almost gone in India. Night blindness was very much prevalent in our days during the poor children in rural places where बच्चा रात को नहीं देख पाता है. रात को नहीं देख पाता है. द रीजन इज द चाइल्ड डज नॉट हैव एडिक्वेट अमाउंट ऑफ रॉड्स इन हिज आईज, इन हिज और हर आईज. रॉड्स आर सेंसिटिव टू लो लाइट. अगर आपको लो लाइट में देखने की काबिलियत चाहिए, आपके पास रॉड्स होना चाहिए. तो यहां एक और क्वेश्चन आता है, सर ये जो आउल होता है, उल्लू, आउल के पास होता है लार्ज नंबर ऑफ रॉड्स. Anyone who is able to see, say between us, eye is a very strange organ. What Neha is seeing, I don't know. How I am seeing, she doesn't know. There are some established colors that we have got, like he is wearing a blue. Now the texture of blue that she is watching and the texture of blue that I am watching, we can't express it unless and until another color is shown, another's color. We don't get to know. So आप रात को, if any child is able to see more better in night, that is less light, that child has more of rods. और rods के लिए आपको चाहिए विटामिन ए, कैरेट वैरेट खाने कहते हैं ना, ठीक है, riboflavin. Okay, and cones are sensitive to bright light. Cones are sensitive to bright light, and cones are responsible for color distinguishing. Color आप याद कैसे रखेंगे? C फॉर कोन, C फॉर कलर. अगर आप, अच्छा, कलर ब्लाइंडनेस भी डिजीज होता है, दैट यू कैन गेस ओनली व्हेन यू गिव चाइल्ड डिफरेंट कलर्स. द फर्स्ट किंडरगार्टन टेस्ट शुड बी डन विद चाइल्ड, नॉट अबाउट हाउ ही स्पीक्स, वेदर द चाइल्ड हैज गॉट एबिलिटी टू डू ऑड मैन आउट. 3 ब्रिंजॉल और 1 पोटैटो दे दो, इज ही एबल टू सेग्रीगेट द पोटैटो? ऑड मैन आउट जिसको हम बोलते हैं. कलर्स, so people who are color blind people will exactly green को blue बोलेगा, blue को green बोलेगा. They have this problem of cones. So when you have bright light, see at night, if I take you to the parking at a dark night, you see all the cars same color except a white car. आपको maroon और black color में कार में difference नहीं आएगा. That is the reason that cones are sensitive. Cones can distinguish color, और cone को color distinguish करने के लिए bright light चाहिए. ब्राइट लाइट है नहीं, तो आप कैसे देखोगे? एंड इफ यू आर डेफिशिएंट बोथ इन कोन्स एंड रॉड्स, आप रात को घर से ही मत निकलिए. दिन में निकलेंगे तो दिखेगा, कलर वैसे भी नहीं दिखेगा, और रात को निकलेंगे तो कुछ भी नहीं दिखेगा. अंडरस्टूड? दिस इज व्हाट आई मिस्ड आउट. दिस इज अ पार्ट ऑफ आई. देन वी कम टू the accommodative nature of the islands. We'll discuss about this. This is more important for us, the accommodative nature. Now let's look at the islands. Let's say this is the first position of the islands, and you can observe that there is certain sort of a curvature to this islands. ठीक है? Now what happens if you make the islands more slender? Suppose this islands has been pulled up and the islands is made slender. हमने इसको slender कर दिया, right? If you make it slender, that means it is being pulled upwards and downwards, right? So here the islands becomes slender, or I would say the islands has become thin, and we would say the converging power decreases. Please understand, converging power. You are dealing, utmost attention is required, नहीं तो भूल जाओगे, myopia पे डिटेक्ट नहीं कर पाओगे. This is a convex lens. A convex lens's job is to converge. If you make the pate patla, that is if you make it slender, the converging power decreases. ये converge नहीं कर पाएगा अच्छे से. अगर पावर कम हो रहा है तो फोकल लेंथ क्या हो रहा है? बढ़ रहा है. तो ऐसे केस में आपको क्या मिलेगा? इंक्रीज्ड फोकल लेंथ. ये चीज समझ में आया कि नहीं? सर हाउ डिड यू कंक्लूड दिस? आई टोल्ड यू पावर इज 1/f. पावर इज 1/f. Only thing you need to remember is 2 things. This lens can converge more, this lens can converge less. इसका कन्वर्जिंग ताकत ज्यादा है, इसका कन्वर्जिंग ताकत कम है. इसका कन्वर्जिंग ताकत कम है मतलब कन्वर्जिंग पावर कम है. अगर कन्वर्जिंग पावर कम है तो इसका मतलब है कि इसका फोकल लेंथ ज्यादा है. ठीक है? This is position number 2, and in position number 3 somehow I am making it more bulged. ऐसा कर दिया. अब ये क्या हो गया? अब ये थिक हो गया. थिक, या फिर मैं इसे कहूंगा इट इज मोर कॉन्वेक्स. आई विल से ग्रेटर कन्वर्जिंग पावर. and I would say that this is increased focal length. Is this much understood? इसके बाद हम accommodation पढ़ेंगे इसमें. हाँ, decreased focal length. Sorry बच्चा, decreased focal length. Very sorry. This is decreased focal length. Have you understood this? And then we will go for how to understand what is the case of accommodation. फोटो लेके रखते हैं, अच्छा लगा, डायग्राम अच्छा बना है. चले, so now we have to rub. So from physics perspective, what is important to us? Convex lens, real images, inverted images, which who corrects it? The brain corrects it. Images are taken by the optic nerve to the brain as electrical signals. The images are then made correct by what? By the brain. Another thing important for us is to understand the retina. The retina is the screen where images are formed. Retina consists of two special, इसके questions आते हैं, two type of cells, and one of them is known as rods. Rods are rod shaped, cones are cone shaped. Rods are sensitive to dim light. So a person having less number of rods will not have visibility in dim light. Owls and other nocturnal animals have got large number of rods, so they are able to see in dim light. And cones are the cells which are sensitive to bright light. In a way they help us to distinguish and identify colors. So जिसके पास cones नहीं है, उसके पास color पहचानने की ताकत नहीं है. One of the unique thing about this eye lens is that this is a convex gelatinous eye lens which is flexible, and the eye, this is the point where the eye lens, where the eye differs from the camera. The camera's lens has got a fixed focal length, and here we have an eye lens whose focal length can vary. It varies by the change in its curvature. More slender you are, less is your converging power, more is your focal length. More bulged you are, more is your converging power, लेस इज योर फोकल लेंथ. इससे आगे अभी कहानी बढ़ाएंगे. ठीक है, इतना अगर हो गया तो आइए आगे बढ़ेंगे. डन. चलिए, ये आउल को हटा देता हूं, नहीं तो आउल हमें आउल बनाएगा. अभी अब यहीं पे पढ़ाएंगे. नाउ come to the human being. Now say suppose we have a human being. यहाँ पे है, ठीक है, ह्यूमन बीइंग है. ये दो तरह की चीजें देखता है. एक है डिस्टेंट and another one is called near. All right, as a human being you would like to see both distant as well as near. Now let's see what is the magic that is happening. Let's say, for example, let's say if you are seeing something distant, okay, I'm trying to make the eye once again. Yeah. If you are trying to see something distant away, distant rays are always taken as parallel rays. The rays are coming parallel to you. पहले समझो फिर बनाओ, आपको मैं टाइम दूंगा. These are distant rays. Okay, distant rays. Distant rays come parallel. They come parallel. Any object from distance, the rays come parallel. If the rays are coming parallel to you, there is not much of an effort required to converge them. You will understand it from the second example. You don't need much effort to converge them. So आपका image कैसे form होगा? This ray will come here and this ray will go here. The eye lens is supposed to converge them and you will get an image formation out here. This is the distant rays. ठीक है? So if you are distant rays, then I'll say the scenario for this one would be less converging nature is needed. Do you agree? If you are less converging is needed, that means you are thin. If you are thin, means the lens is pulled up. ये सब याद रहना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो आप कोरिलेट नहीं कर पाएंगे। थिन होना है तो इसका मतलब इफ यू हैव टू बी थिन, यू हैव टू बी पुल्ड अप एंड पुल डाउन पैरेलली, तभी ना आप थिन होगे, नहीं तो थिन कैसे बनेगा? ठीक है, नाउ विल कम टू योर पार्ट व्हिच यू वर सेइंग ना, सिलियरी मसल्स, इट हैज टू बी पुल्ड अप एंड डाउन, in other words I would say stretched. Have you understood? It has to be stretched, and in such a scenario, since less converging, so your focal length is more. देखो तो बच्चा, ये 4 पॉइंट आप एब्जॉर्व कर पा रहे हो कि नहीं? अगर आप दूर की चीजों को देखेंगे, इफ यू सी समथिंग दैट इज डिस्टेंट, द रेज कम पैरेलल टू यू, देयर इज नॉट मच डिमांड ऑन द आई, नो यू डोंट नीड मच ऑफ कन्वर्जिंग रिक्वायर्ड। ठीक है, ये कन्वर्ज कर जाए, बिकॉज इट्स अ कन्वर्जिंग लेंस, एंड ऑफ द डे इट विल कन्वर्ज, बट सम स्पेशल एफर्ट इज नॉट रिक्वायर्ड, सो यू नीड less converging. Less converging means converging is directly proportional to focal length, ये याद रखिएगा। Okay, less to the curvature, so you need less converging. If you need less converging, your eye lens should be slender. To make the eye lens slender, the eye lens has to be stretched. You please pay attention on this word stretched. This is what we will deal with now. The eye lens has to be stretched. The focal length is more. If you would like to, ये नोट कर लो, आपको ये इंपॉर्टेंट रहेगा। And with a red line on this thing called stretched, you are stretching the eye lens. Remember, we are talking all in terms of the eye lens. Once again, I would like to say, when we try to see distant object, rays from the distant object travel as parallel rays. They come to our eye. Our eye does not need too much of converging power to converge the rays. If it does not need too much of converging power, it means it is not required to be more curved in nature. More bulge नहीं चाहिए, तो कैसा चाहिए? स्लेंडर चाहिए। आंख तो वही है ना, उसी वक्त सामने विमान भी हो सकता है, स्टोरी चेंज हो जाएगा। तो immediately your eye changes into a mode in which the lens becomes thin at the center. मतलब आंख का लेंस स्ट्रेच हो गया है, इट इज पुल्ड अप एंड पुल्ड डाउन साइमल्टेनियसली, एंड द फोकल लेंथ ऑफ द आई रिड्यूसेस, सॉरी, फोकल लेंथ ऑफ द आई इंक्रीजेस। ओके, नाउ imagine that stretch वाला part, I am trying to elaborate that story. Stretched, ये stretched कैसे होता है? How does this stretching happen? ठीक है, now pay attention on this diagram. Now pay attention on this diagram. In order to stretch this lens, look at this diagram. In order to stretch this lens, we need a force which will pull the lens upward and downward at the same time. If you are pulling it upward and downward, first see from the ciliary muscles perspective, that is the blue muscles. Don't you think the blue muscles will एकदम contract, ऐसे आ जाए, not contract, they will be in relaxed position, आराम से। See, this is a muscle. Look at, don't think it from the lens perspective. Look at from the ciliary muscles perspective. अगर कोई चीज लटक रहा है, then this ciliary muscle is stressed, I will say. Stress मतलब जानते हैं? When there is a load on you, you stress. If this is being pulled up, then the ciliary muscles are in relaxed position. ये समझना है। लेंस को जब आप स्ट्रेच करते हो, उस वक्त ciliary muscles relaxed position में रहता है। Obviously, सुनो, मैं दो चीज लिखता हूं यहाँ पे। ये स्ट्रेच करने के लिए I will say ciliary muscles are relaxed, and suspensory ligaments, hey, somebody switch off your mic. The suspensory ligaments, what will your say be on the suspensory ligaments? सोचो, चीज को समझे। ये मेरा लेंस है, इसको some ligaments. Vaishnav, can you just mute your mic please if you don't mind?
Yes, sir, sorry.
Okay, this is a lens. The lens has got suspensory ligaments. These are suspensory ligaments which are like threads. I want to stretch this lens. So what is the condition of the ligaments?
Sir, hello sir. Hello sir.
Yeah, hello.
Sir, I have a doubt, sir. Sir, are you Mark?
Who are you? Who is sharing his? Who is doing this link? Who has given this link? Children, if this can only happen if any one of you has shared a link to somebody outsider, otherwise this can never happen. And whoever is doing this, if you don't want to attend the class, don't attend, but don't disturb the class. Who is this? What is this? What is this reading as? This. Who is using with this Samsung login? Don't damage the class mind. Join it, you join properly or don't join. Somebody must have leaked the info. कोई तो किया है. Who has shared this somewhere? Somebody else's laptop. Someone has done all these things. I'll change this class code tomorrow. Okay. And don't do this. This is disturbing actually. नहीं पढ़ना है मत पढ़ो यार, ये बेकार के काम किया करो. Anyways, it's not about somebody joining in. If somebody wants to come and attend a class and attend it from attending perspective, please attend. I have no issues. Class में घुस के ऐसे बर्बाद मत करो. It takes me half a minute to catch that IP. Anyways, okay, try and understand. This is the lens. The lens is having, this particular lens has got a ligament on top and a ligament on bottom. The ligament is further attached to ciliary muscles. चीज को समझिए. अगर इस लेंस को पतला करना है, the lens has to be pulled from top and bottom at the same time. And I am saying that this particular ciliary muscles, the ciliary muscle, you just think like some आटा डो. It is right now like this. ये ciliary muscles relax हो जाता है, ऊपर चला जाएगा. ये ऊपर चला जाएगा, ये थोड़ा सा नीचे आ जाएगा, है ना? They are in relaxed mode. Right now I will not call them as relaxed mode. They are somewhat stressed. Stressed, hear the word stressed. थोड़ा सा परेशानी में है. ये आराम से रिलैक्स करेगा, ये रिलैक्स करेगा. ये दोनों रिलैक्स करते ही what will happen on the ligaments? The ligaments will be under tension. ऐसे केस में the suspensory ligaments are stretched. This is what children fail to understand. The lens is stretched. Lens is stretched means the suspensory ligaments are also stretched. However, the muscles are relaxed. अब जरा फिर से देखो, ये लेंस पतला हो गया, मतलब this lens is being pulled up and pulled down. So the lens is stretched. These ligaments have become like guitar strings. Tight हो गया है अभी. और ये मसल आराम से ऊपर चला गया. ये मसल हम मसल के लैंग्वेज से बोलते हैं, तो we will say that the ciliary muscles are relaxed. है ना? ये एक बहुत ही चीज है. So when you are trying to have distant vision, ऐसे विजन को हम कहते हैं that the eye is in, this will help you in grade 12 also. Your eye is in relaxed mode. Relaxed. बड़ा ही अजीब है. The lens is stretched, but the eye is relaxed. Eye का दर्द पता चलता है आई के मसल्स के दर्द से. आपके मसल्स रिलैक्स्ड हैं. हैव यू अंडरस्टूड व्हाई द मसल्स आर रिलैक्स्ड? मसल रिलैक्स होगा तो ये स्ट्रेच होगा. फॉर अस रिलैक्सेशन इज, व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय रिलैक्सेशन? व्हेन समबडी प्रेसेस योर फीट एंड मसल्स एंड ऑल, डोंट यू फील रिलैक्स्ड? मसल के दर्द से ही रिलैक्सेशन होता है. अगर मसल्स रिलैक्स्ड है तो वी विल से दैट इन डिस्टेंट विजन माय आईज आर रिलैक्स्ड एंड सच अ विजन इज नोन एज अनएकोमोडेटेड. अनएकोमोडेटेड मतलब कोई अलग से मेहनत नहीं करना पड़ता है दूर के चीजों को देखने के लिए. अगेन फिर समझते हैं. डिस्टेंट विजन मतलब दूर की चीजें. दूर के रेज हमेशा कैसे आते हैं? पैरेलल आते हैं. A distant rays come parallel to me. When the rays are coming parallel to me, the demand on part of my eye lens to converge them is not much. You don't need high converging power. थोड़ा सा पावर में ही कन्वर्ज हो जाएगा. If I don't need high converging power, I don't want my lens to be very motu. But again, at the same time, the eye lens may become motu also, because at the same time I may be seeing him and I may be seeing there also. See how fast the eye is accommodating. Are you understanding? I'm seeing right there on my kitchen and I'm seeing him also. He is a near object that we'll discuss after this. Let me go to the far object. So when I see the far object, I cannot see them both clearly if the curvature of my eye lens does not change. And when I see the far object, the demand on my eye lens is that you don't need very big convex nature. What do I need? Sir, let the lens become thin. Okay. How do I make the lens become thin? The lens becomes thin when the suspensory ligaments pull the lenses from either two sides. As a result, the muscle goes in relaxed mode. ये आराम से ऊपर रिलैक्स हो गया. ये लटकेगा नहीं ना, ये खींचेगा, but the other one, look at the muscle, muscle नहीं लटकेगा, the muscle won't sag down, neither on this side or this side. So when you are having a distant vision, the eyes are said to be in relaxed mode. In grade 12, when you will be designing telescope and microscope, तो टेलीस्कोप में हम बोलेंगे what is the relaxed vision. Relaxed means हम दूर की चीज को देख रहे हैं, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. The vision is said to be unaccommodated. Your eyes are not doing something great to accommodate it. समझे? दूर का चीज देखना मुश्किल नहीं होता. ये चीज समझ में आया? अच्छा, अब जरा यहां पे कुछ लिखना है तो लिख लीजिए. If nothing is there, then we can go to the near objects. ठीक है? Let's see near objects. Okay, near. Now, if you have a near object से हमारे लेंस रेज जो है ना ऐसे डाइवर्जेंट निकलते हैं. Have you understood? Now question arises, one question you should ask here, sir, this distant object also at some distance तो is an object, don't you think? This object somewhere must have been an object. यहाँ पे है वो object, मान लो. Initially every ray is divergent. Initially every ray is divergent. As they travel, they start becoming parallel. Have you understood? As they travel, they start becoming parallel. But in this case, the object is much near to the eye. So you are not getting the benefit of taking parallel rays from the object. ये मेरे बहुत पास है, इससे मुझे दोनों रेस कैसे आएंगे? डाइवर्जेंट ही आएंगे. वो किचन का चिमनी से भी डाइवर्जेंट आ रहा है, लेकिन मेरे आंख तक आते आते पैरेलल हो गया है. सो एवरी ऑब्जेक्ट विल गिव यू एक्चुअली डाइवर्जेंट रेज ओनली. A distant object's rays become parallel as they travel across, whereas in this case the rays are, I don't get to see it. और पीछे चला जाऊंगा then I can get to see it in the parallel zone. I don't get the parallel zone. अब डिमांड क्या है? इसको भी तो देखना है. So image should be formed on the retina. So now they are divergent rays. Rays are trying to go in this manner. I need higher converging power. जबरदस्ती खींच के अब इसको कन्वर्ज कराना है. Higher converging means more motu. Higher converging means more motu. Lens has to be made more bulky or convex. So converging power increases, focal length decreases. तो लिखें वो सब चीजें अभी. यहाँ पे क्या क्या होगा अभी हमारा? This thing is going to go and converge out on the retina. This is a normal person. इसके बाद हम disease पढ़ेंगे. Why you are not able to see? So here what happens? Let's see from the eye lens perspective first. From the eye lens perspective, we will say more converging nature is needed. More converging nature is needed. The eye lens needs to be now thick, right? Thick means it needs to bulge or become more convex. It needs to become more convex, more converging nature. That means the focal length should decrease, because we have read power is inverse of focal length. If you need more power, focal length should come down. समझ में आया? अब यहां पे थोड़ा सा, यहां पे जैसे लिखा ना, इट नीड्स टू बी पुल्ड अप, अब केस उल्टा है। अब जरा केस देखो, इसमें क्या होगा, इसको मोटू करना है, ठीक है, इसको मोटू करना है। सो व्हाट विल वी थिंक, द लेंस विल बी नाउ इन रिलैक्स मोड, लेंस रिलैक्स्ड हो जाएगा, and the suspensory ligaments will also relax. But what about the ciliary muscle? They will be stretched, not expand. Stretch is the right word. Stretch. लोड पड़ेगा हमारी आंखों में। इसलिए जब भी कोई पास के चीज को मुझे दिखाता है, लुक एट मी, मैं इसे कैसे देखता हूं, कहां है बताओ, तो कहां है बताओ, स्ट्रेच। सिलियरी मसल स्ट्रेच हो जाते हैं। एक्चुअली ये समझना मुश्किल हो जाए, हम सोचे ऐसे बड़े बड़े करने से ना लेंस ऐसा, नहीं, लेंस मोटू होगा, लिगामेंट्स ढीले हो जाएंगे, पर मसल्स लटक जाएंगे, ऊपर वाला मसल भी नीचे लटकेगा, नीचे वाला। सो वी व्हेनेवर वी से वेदर यू आर स्ट्रेस्ड, परेशान हो कि नहीं, वी से इट फ्रॉम द एंगल ऑफ द सिलियरी मसल्स, राइट? सो लेट अस राइट डाउन हियर what all we will write here in this case. The lens is convex or it is more bulged, right? What about the ciliary muscles? Tell me, what should I write for the ciliary muscles? Stretched. Okay. What do I write for the suspensory ligaments? They are relaxed. The suspensory. Therefore, whenever we are seeing something near, the near vision is, the eye is always stressed. The eye is stressed. Why is the eye stressed? Because the ciliary muscles are stretched. So the eye is stressed, and this vision is known as the accommodated vision. इस विजन को हम accommodated बोलते हैं, इसको समझिए। रिलैक्स्ड बोल सकते हैं, एक और वर्ड यहां पे बोल सकते हैं, दैट दीज आर लूज नाउ। They are loose. In fact, you can make here, as in this diagram, if you look at the ciliary muscles, we made it with blue, right? So we'll make it with blue. The ciliary muscles are almost contracted, and here the ciliary muscles would be ऐसा हो जाएगा। दोनों में फर्क आ रहा है? ये है stretched, ciliary muscles are stretched. This is what, and here we say that the ciliary muscles are relaxed. See, this is the ciliary muscle which is relaxed. So now let's go back to our study again. Eye for our physics part has got a convex lens and the retina. Our eye can focus on distant object as well as on near object at the same time, simultaneously, within fraction of seconds. This nature is known as the accommodative nature of the eye lens. इसको पढ़ेंगे आगे, what is power of accommodation. So what happens, how does the eye so quickly transform itself in order to see a distant object as well as a near object? To understand that, we should understand this logic. A distant object is always viewed, the rays from a distant object are always viewed as parallel rays. These rays enter the eye lens, and the eye lens job is to converge the rays in order to form an image on the retina. Not too much of converging power is required. not too much of converging power is required. So the power is less, the focal length increases. How does the eye do that? The eye does that by making the lens slender or thin. How is the lens made slender? The suspensory ligaments actually pull up and pull down in a manner, stretch it. So the ligaments are under stretched condition. However, the ciliary muscles are very relaxed. वो अपना लंप चला गया, अब अपने लंप में चले गए. That's why distant vision is known as relaxed vision. The eye is said to be under unaccommodated condition. The eye does not accommodate anything. कोई परेशानी नहीं है. दूर का चीज कितना दूर हो वो देखो तो दिख रहा है, हाँ दिख रहा है. Anything, just try and read, try to read the price and all these things. इसको मैं पढ़ने बोलूंगा आपको ना, आपको एफर्ट लेना पड़ेगा. दूर की चीजों में कोई अच्छा कौन आ रहा है वहां, कौन, आपको कोई एफर्ट लेना नहीं पड़ता है. ठीक. Then we need to see what happens near vision. When we see near vision, the rays from the object are coming as divergent rays. Here we need to understand that rays from the object are always divergent rays. In the case of distant object, the object is so far away that the rays then become parallel. In case of distant object, you don't get that benefit of seeing the object by parallel rays. You see it only by divergent rays. So once you're seeing it by divergent rays, more demand is needed by the human eye to converge it. So your converging power requirement is more. If the power is more, the focal length is less. How do you make it? You make it by making the lens more bulky or more convex or more bulged. In order to do this, the same guitar string like suspensory ligaments now should become loose. As they become loose, the ciliary muscles, they stretch from their places. Right? So if you look at the lens थोड़ा सा ऐसा हो गया है. The suspensory ligaments are loose, but the ciliary muscles are now stretched. As a condition, distant vision की जगह the near vision is said to be a stressed vision. Eye is at stress. तकलीफ हो रहा है आंख को. Right? The eye is at stress and this vision is known as accommodated vision. आपकी आंखें नॉर्मली से नहीं देख सकती. बोलो नॉर्मल में कौन सा आदमी मेहनत करना चाहता है? कोई नहीं. आंखें भी मेहनत नहीं करनी चाहती है. तो दूर की चीजें देखने के लिए आपको कभी भी मेहनत नहीं है. When we go for this girl has come from a long drive. If you're driving long and you're seeing the highway, that's not. Imagine she is driving 700 kilometers only by looking at the speedometer. अब समझ में आ रहा है? That is accommodated vision. पास के चीजों को बहुत देर देखते रहना is accommodated. The eye is stressed. So when you see with the microscope, उसको हम कहते हैं stressed. स्ट्रेस विजन कहते हैं. ठीक है, ये समझ में आया. नाउ वी शुड अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज अकोमोडेशन. Accommodation is the nature of the human eye, but which it is able to focus on a distant and on a near object simultaneously. That is called the accommodative power. As a human being, my eye is such nicely designed, which a camera is not designed. कैमरा में लेंस के आगे और भी lenses लगेंगे, and those only keep on doing क्वी कहीं वो करते रहता है. मेरा ये क्वी कहीं ऑटोमेटिकली हो रहा है. A human eye can see a far off thing and a nearby thing at the same time just by changing the curvature of its lens, just by changing the focal length of its lens, just by altering the ciliary muscles what status. Ciliary muscles relax है तो एक टाइप का विजन मिलता है. सिलियरी मसल्स अगर स्ट्रेस्ड है तो एक टाइप का विजन मिलता है. अगर सिलियरी मसल्स रिलैक्स्ड है तो हम कहते हैं विजन ही रिलैक्स्ड है, अनअकोमोडेटेड. अगर सिलियरी मसल स्ट्रेस्ड है तो हमारा विजन क्या हो जाता है? हमारा विजन accommodated, eye is stressed. And one beautiful thing before we just stop this discussion and define what is power of accommodation. Now you are talking to me. My age is 47. You know what is my problem now? My problems are these two muscles. Now this will be understood by somebody who is non-vegetarian by diet. Eating a tender meat and eating a hard meat, what is the difference? Tender meat is soft, hard meat is more hard. I am no more tender. If you go by the chicken knowledge, I'm a stiff meat now. So मेरा ये मसल जब इसको स्ट्रेच करना होता है करेगा? I'm 47, मेरा ये स्ट्रेच करेगा? नहीं करेगा. अगर मेरा अब लिंक करो, अगर मेरा ये स्ट्रेच नहीं करता है, मतलब नीचे नहीं लटकता है, मेरा लेंस मोटा होगा? नहीं होगा. मैं चाहता हूं कि ये स्ट्रेच करे, पर ये कहता है बुढ़ा हो गया हूं बाप, अब नहीं आ सकता हूं. तो अगर ये बुढ़ा हो गया है तो मेरा लेंस मोटू नहीं बन पाता है. और यही मेरा तकलीफ है कि मैं पास के चीज को नहीं देख पाता हूं. ये बीमारी सबको होगा। नहीं, शौर्य और यक से कुछ लेना देना नहीं, ये 40 के बाद सबको आना शुरू हो जाएगा। Somebody, I got affected at around 36. मैं कभी पेबल सिटी में स्पेक्स पहना ही नहीं था। I got it very early because I used to do a lot of electronic soldering and all. By 36, 37, I had this problem. My wife is also, my wife is 5 years junior to me in age, younger to me. अभी उसको भी लग गया। पहले पहले बहुत उस्तादी मारता था, इंस्टाग्राम ऐसे ऐसे देखता था, मुझे बहुत जलन होता था। अभी ऐसे देखती है, मीन्स लग गया। 42 के बाद आपको आ जाएगा। सो क्या ये अक्षय कुमार को होगा, ये कटरीना कैफ को भी होगा, आपको भी होगा। दिस इज समथिंग यू कांट एस्केप, दिस इज बाय एजिंग, and that is what is my condition. I cannot see something near very easily. Why? Sir, because my lens cannot become mota when it is supposed to become mota. What is your problem? Sir, my problems are these two. They are very very stubborn. They have become like that purana murga jaisa, tough meat. And that's the best way to understand. They have become tough and they are no more sleek and slender. लेकिन तो मेरे ये कैसे रह गए हैं, जैसे थे वैसे ही है, रिलैक्स्ड। तो क्या मैं दूर का देख सकता हूं? ओह यस। कैन आई ड्राइव अ कार विदाउट दिस स्पेक्स? ऑब्वियसली सब कुछ दिखता है। स्पीडोमीटर थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम होता है, लेकिन सामने दिखता है। ये तो सबको होने वाला है। तो आगे हम जब प्रेसबायोपिया पढ़ेंगे, एट दैट टाइम ट्राई टू रिलेट विद दिस। The problem in any person who has crossed 40 years of age is the inability of the ciliary muscles to dance to the requirement of your eye lens. Your eye lens says, make me bulky. So what is the trigger? Ciliary muscles start stretching. They say, we don't. We are aged. We won't. So what do? You need additional chashma. So have you understood what is power of accommodation? So what is the power of accommodation? It is the power of the human eye, or accommodation means, accommodation is defined as the ability of the human eye to focus on distant as well as near objects simultaneously just by changing the curvature of his lens. And one of the organ which plays a prime role in that is this ciliary muscle. इसलिए मैंने बोला फिजिक्स में ये मेरे लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है। सिलियरी मसल्स अगर रिलैक्स रहेंगे, आई लेंस खींचा हुआ रहेगा, suspensory ligaments will be in guitar mode, stretched, eye lens relaxed. Relaxed means stretched. If the ciliary muscles are stressed, means they fall down, eye lens becomes bulky. At that time the eye is said to be accommodated. इतना आपको समझ में आया? तो देखो, बाकी आप बुक से ही पढ़ सकते हो। What is accommodation? Ability of an eye to focus distant and this. Now still we have time. Now we should know something. What is the normal vision of a human eye? ये तो दोनों ऑब्जेक्ट तो हमने बना लिया, but it does not mean that everyone watches this. There should be some defined. So we say that the maximum that you can see, the maximum distance to which one can see clearly, that is known as that person's far point. जहां तक आप देख सकते हो वो आपका फार पॉइंट है। सबके लिए अलग अलग है, ठीक है। और इसको क्या कहेंगे? द मिनिमम डिस्टेंस टू विच, अरे यार, टू विच यू कैन सी क्लियरली इज नोन एज योर नियर पॉइंट। अच्छा, फार पॉइंट को समझना आसान हो जाता है। फार पॉइंट मींस, कम विद मी, स्टैंड एंड लेट्स सी ऑन द हाईवे कौन कितना दूर तक एक गाड़ी के नंबर को पढ़ पा रहा है। दैट इज कंसिडर्ड एज दैट पर्सन्स फार पॉइंट। नियर पॉइंट क्या होता है? द मिनिमम डिस्टेंस टू विच यू कैन सी क्लियरली। व्हाट डू आई मीन बाय मिनिमम डिस्टेंस? टेक दिस बॉटल ऑफ इंक, रिटन लग्जर व्हाइट बोर्ड इंक, आई एम सीइंग स्टिल क्लियरली, से सपोज आई एम नॉर्मल। इसके बाद ले आए ना, ब्लर होना शुरू हो जाता है। So for me, this is the last minimum distance at which I can see it clearly, right? Beyond this, it becomes blurred. इससे और आगे आएंगे तो blurred. So जैसे हम कहते हैं, hemoglobin count normal कितना होना चाहिए? For a male, it is around 13. For a lady, it is around 11 के आसपास. You are normal, 11-12 के आसपास. तो यहाँ भी कुछ figures देना चाहिए. So we say that the far point is always taken as infinity. आप कहाँ तक देख पाते हो? अनंत तक देख पा रहे हैं. That's the normal far point. And what is the near point? 25 centimeters. and 25 centimeters is known as least distance of distinct vision, LDDV. इसको आपको क्लास 12 में पढ़ाएगा, LDDV, the least distance of distinct vision means our friend Adya can see something if she is normal with her eyes. 25 centimeters is the last comfortable position at which you should be able to see an object. 25 से पास कर देंगे ना तो ब्लर हो जाएगा. That's why when you take specs, आप लोग तो सब चश्मा पहने हुए, चश्मा खोल सबसे पहले, बिना चश्मे के लिए क्या? So at 25 centimeters is considered to be our least distance of distinct vision, LDDV, least distance of distinct vision. Here we can at last see an object clearly. उससे अगर पास कर दे, you no more can see it clearly, your vision will become blurred. Have you understood? Sir, what about if I take it beyond 25? Array, I told up to infinity you can see, that is your far point. Near point, far point is infinity. Near point क्या है? पास लाते जाओ लाते जाओ लाते जाओ लाते जाओ. 25, ये आखिरी मैं तुम्हें क्लियर देख रहा हूं, इसके बाद मैं तुम्हें ब्लर देखना शुरू करता हूं. Have you understood? That's why when you are having your eye test, at the last moment, the optometrist will give you a book to read और बोलेगा हाथ में लेके पढ़ो. Now the problem with this जयदीप दास is, से अभी हमारा प्रॉब्लम सुनो तब आपको मजा आए, चैप्टर बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है. My least distance of distinct vision is not 25 सेंटीमीटर. बुढ़ा हो गया हो ना, अब मुझे कोई पढ़ने देता है ना कोई चीज, मैं ऐसे पढ़ता हूं. हाँ बताओ, देखा, all your daddies will now read things like that. हाँ बताओ कितना. So what has happened? 25 centimeter has stretched beyond 25, 30, 40. मुझे यहां क्लियरली नहीं दिखाई देता है, which Vivan can see very clearly, I can't see because my LDDV has got hit. Why? Because these are stubborn for me. ये स्ट्रेच नहीं हो रहे हैं अभी, तो मैं नहीं देख पाता हूं. दूर ले जाओ तो देख पाता हूं. अब कितना दूर लोगे? The maximum that I can see is my arm length. God has given constrained me by my arm. सेल्फी स्टिक लेके थोड़ी देखोगे, तो पास देखना है तो कैसे देखोगे? Now you need additional. Now visibility. In fact, the first symptoms of getting hit by press myopia is that आपको सर में दर्द होना शुरू हो जाएगा. When you try to read, credit card होता है ना, उसके पीछे लिखा रहता है customer care support numbers. That's the best test. If your mom or dad cannot read customer care support number behind the credit card, time that they go for a check and take this. And this तो लगेगा ही. अगले क्लास में हम पढ़ेंगे आपका प्रॉब्लम क्या है, मायोपिया एंड हाइपरमेट्रोपिया. ठीक है, मायोपिया में अलग है. देखो तो मायोपिया में क्या हो रहा है. मायोपिया, all you children cannot see the blackboard in the class. Do you agree? You can't see the blackboard in the class. That means आपके नियर पॉइंट में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, आपका फार पॉइंट में प्रॉब्लम है. एंड let's say the blackboard is here, you are unable to see. So what you do? Ma'am, can I go to the blackboard and copy and come? Yeah children. तो आप पास जाके कॉपी करते हो. Your far point has shifted here. मायोपिया समझने के लिए, मायोपिया में your far point has come, आगे आ गया है. मतलब यहीं तक आपके लिए फार यही है, इससे फार कुछ रख दो ना, आपको नहीं दिखता है. नॉर्मल पर्सन यू शुड बी एबल टू सी टिल हियर. द ब्लैक बोर्ड इज हियर, आप नहीं देख पाते हो, बट व्हेन यू गेट अप एंड कम हियर यू आर एबल टू सी द ब्लैक बोर्ड. दैट्स व्हाई आई से दिस फेलो इज उल्टा, अमूल्य. अगर वो चश्मा पहनता है, ही इज सफरिंग फ्रॉम मायोपिया. मायोपिया मीन्स व्हाट? नियर साइटेडनेस. दिस विल स्टडी नेक्स्ट क्लास. दैट मीन्स नियर को देख पाता है, दूर देख नहीं पाता है, फिर भी दूरी बैठता है. Do you get the point? फिर भी दूर बैठता है, उसका फार पॉइंट पास है. या तो मैं बोर्ड पास ले जाऊं तो इसे, हाँ सर बहुत अच्छा दिख रहा है. That's why when sometimes you guys you guys forget your specs at home. This girl one day forgot. She says, I can manage. Why? You are writing with your textbook, sitting in the front bench. Can I afford to forget my specs? I one day asked Shaurya also to get my specs from my home. Can I forget? No. क्योंकि मैं तो 25 सेंटीमीटर में ही लिख रहा हूं, सब उल्टा उल्टा दिखेगा मुझे. But that does not mean I cannot come to titanium. वो दिखेगा और आके लिफ्ट दबा दूंगा, पर वो 13 है कि 16 है, वहां थोड़ा लोचा है. So after it becomes double digit, start counting. टिक टिक 10, 11, 12, 13. ये मेरा घर है. उतना भी बुरा नहीं हुआ वो भी, और उतना बुरा हो जाता है लोग। ठीक है, क्लियर? इस अकोमोडेशन तक क्लियर हुआ? आगे क्लास में हम पढ़ेंगे डिजीजेस ऑफ ह्यूमन आई। सो व्हाट यू आर सफरिंग इज अ डिजीज, सो दैट विल रिमेन विथ यू एंड गॉड विल ब्लेस यू विद दिस ऑल्सो। तो जब आप बुढ़े होंगे, आई हैव वन इशू, यू विल हैव टू इश्यूज। हाँ, डबल लेंस आएगा आपको। एंड आफ्टर दैट यू विल हैव वन मोर विच ऑल ऑफ अस विल हैव, विच इज कॉल्ड कैटरैक्ट, सर्जरी। हाँ, सर्जरी like which your grandmother had recently, that is surgery, that all of us will have. Now I am afraid for that only. Nowadays they say early cataract happens from 52 53 also. अब मेरा वही टेंशन है, आंख में सर्जरी करेगा, सोचो क्या दर्द होगा। ठीक है, चलो।